Hello, and thank you for giving us another opportunity to spend some time with you on Stairway to Health, brought to you by Health Experts Canada. We've got some great ideas, new information, and hopefully a few laughs for you today. Who knows? If you're not careful, you may learn something.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stairway to Health podcast. I'm your host for today, Frank Peary, and today I'd like to welcome our very special guest today, Mr. Renzo Mariani. Now, we first met Renzo when he was working in retail inside the natural health product industry, and Renzo happens to be not only a colleague, but a great friend over the years, and I've managed to learn an awful lot from Renzo. So this is really exciting for me because we're going to be talking about some of my favorite nutritional supplements inside this industry, and no better man to speak to than the man himself. So Renzo, tell us a little bit more about you and the person you are, and Renzo, the healthpreneur that you are. Tell us about your business and what you do, how you got started.
Well, thank you for the kind introduction, Frank. I appreciate it. Yeah, a little bit about me. I've been a sort of a health and fitness geek for my entire life. Started in my early teens, which was really unusual. Back in the 80s. I'm dating myself here. I'm 51 this year. So the whole category that we live in today really didn't exist the way it does currently back in the 80s. It was still in its infancy. So for a teenage boy in high school to be, into supplements, I was quite unusual, a bit of an odd duck, if you will. But that's really when I started going down this path. I was a skinny kid, wanted to gain some weight, put on some muscle. I'd started working out with weights and, picked up some magazines because that's what we had as far as resources back then. This was pre-internet. And, went down that rabbit hole, if you will. So from magazines, got into books, and really became all consumed by learning about nutrition and fitness and how supplements, which were limited as far as what we had available back then, just in what those things could do to impact your health and eating and nutrition and foods. So by the time I got out of high school and got into university, I ended up pursuing a business degree for some bizarre reason, which I really hated after about 2 years. But I was committed to that path, and I decided to stick with it. One of those key traits of mine is stubbornness or perseverance. It sort of depends on which side of the coin you're on. But I finished my business degree and spent all of my free time studying about nutrition, vitamins, supplements, foods, fitness, and exercise. And my plan was to go back to university, pick up a science degree, and then get into the professional field, either chiropractic or naturopathic medicine. But I picked up a part-time job at Nutrition House in Toronto, working for the founder of the chain, and really loved being in the store and helping to share that vast amount of what I thought was useless knowledge or knowledge limited to myself with other people. And really quickly, it dawned on me how beneficial that information and that whole process of sharing that information with other people was for them. And it made me feel great. I had a really positive impact on people's lives. It was phenomenal. And that led me to connecting with a gentleman named Norm Daniels, who was restarting his business. This takes us into the late 90s. And he was just a wonderful human being, and I loved his story and where he was going, and I accepted a job offer from him, and that's sort of where we connected back down in the St. Catharines area many, many years ago. But that sort of changed my life, and I never went back to school, never picked up that science degree in chiropractic or naturopathic degree. I just became fully immersed in the natural health products space, professionally, personally, in every which way possible. And I learned a lot from Norm. He was a mentor. He is still a mentor. We're still in touch today. But the experience at Body Plus was just incredible. Just from a sales, marketing, product development, all the knowledge that I gained throughout my 20 plus years there was just exceptional. Not only in terms of my professional career, but personally, I was able to learn so much more at so many different levels. And that led me to where I am today. So back in 2017 or so, Norm decided to retire, and he sold the business to a company, Jameson Wellness. They took over and had a different direction in mind than I had for the business. So I ended up parting ways amicably with Jameson back in 2018, and started on this path of, what do I do next with my life? And it was too late to go back to school. I didn't want to work for anybody else. And I still had this sort of itch to create my own brand that was truly my own. So I started working on Younited Nutrition. I thought, you know what? I'm going to make the products that I want to take that I can't find in the marketplace. And hopefully I can sell a few products at the same time. And that's what I decided to do. So that's how Younited was born.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, we picked up a lot from that story, which is pretty phenomenal. Number one, it's the deep passion that you have for the industry and the deep passion you have for helping others enjoy optimal levels of health, or achieve, working towards achieving that level of optimal health. So passion is something that's very deep. I sensed that in you. I sensed it in you when we first met many, many years ago. And the second little bit of information in there, when we talk about entrepreneurship, when we talk about being the healthpreneur inside this space, you didn't get a chance to go back to school for that science degree, but look at what you learned through the school of life itself, right? I mean, pretty phenomenal stuff. When opportunity knocks, when you realize opportunity knocking and you grab hold of it. Timing is sometimes everything in the world of entrepreneurship. And when it comes to this industry, especially, I often equate the natural product industry to the computer industry because it is changing so rapidly. Science itself changes so quickly on a regular basis, and it's hard to sometimes keep up. But yeah, some pretty awesome things there. Now, what's the full name of your company?
So it's Younited Nutrition is the actual the business name. Our website is Younited Wellness, Younited Nutrition. I couldn't get that domain for some reason, but Younited Nutrition, Younited Nutrition with Purpose is the actual full name of the business.
That's pretty awesome. Nutrition with purpose. I like that. It means an awful lot. It actually makes you feel something. Younited, where did that name come from? How did that come from?
That's an interesting one. So I'm not much of a marketing guy, but when I shared my story with the marketing group that helped me with the branding of the business, they really latched on and really quickly said, "Hey, Renzo, this is what you got to come up with because it just incorporates everything." So Younited really was a way to sort of capture or unite all of the experience that I've had developed, accumulated over the last 35 years, both on the professional side, but on the personal side as well. So that's the play sort of on the word united, and the way we spell it, Y-O-U, united. We're making products for you, for the consumer, because I always approach this consumer first. I'm the first consumer for all of my products. It's not about business, not about bottom line. It's not about fads. It's not about anything like that. It's about something that I feel I need or I want to take, or that need isn't being met with products in the marketplace. So it's always from that consumer or you first perspective.
Yeah, I like that. I really do like that. You touched on a couple things. I know in our private practice, Health Experts Canada, when we're working one-on-one with clients, the whole, purpose for the company starting to work one-on-one with clients was because of my story and my background in terms of being the first successful graduate through our signature system, which was the State of Shock Success program. And when you do something for yourself, for the betterment of yourself in all areas, mind, body, spirit, soul, total body health is what we're talking about here. You want to naturally share that with so many other people. Especially when it can affect so many other lives. But you touched on the fact that Younited isn't just a brand, right? It goes above and beyond the expectations, the fads, the diets, the hype, real products that work. And that's key for me, because when we teach clients about functional wellness, the foundations of functional wellness, we are really taking them back to basic fundamentals, things that people sometimes lose sight of because there's so much marketing out there in this landscape, right? And it confuses a lot of people.
Absolutely. There's so much noise out there, Frank. And, it's, in some ways I try to put a positive spin on it because it does, a lot of this noise helps to increase attention and awareness, and it brings, people to the category, so to speak. But then finding their way is often difficult. How do you weed through all that information, that noise, and find the products that are really right for you and what you're trying to accomplish in life? And that's where, that's where you come into play. And it's important to have, healthy options and solid, knowledgeable options out there for consumers to find and go to get some of this information and get some direction, because it's chaotic out there.
Yeah, it is. Like, finding the right help, the right support at the right time. The same way you found your mentor in Mr. Norm Daniels. I mean, it's funny because he was very much a mentor to me, myself. My interests, when I first started in this industry, took me first to sport nutrition and sport supplementation and performance nutrition. So he helped me a great deal. So yeah, finding the right support when you need it, that's key. And that's what we're all about, right? Making sure people know where they can turn to get it. But it sounds like a whole bunch of work, starting up a company from scratch, a brand of product, bringing it to the marketplace, marketing it and getting people aware of just how phenomenal it is. So being a busy husband, father, business owner, staying healthy is obviously very important to you. What do you do, being the sort of sport nutrition geek that you claim to be? What do you do to keep yourself healthy and full of the necessary energy to keep going?
I drink a lot of coffee. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
A man after my own heart. Look at that.
I love coffee. I limit myself to 2 a day. But no, all jokes aside, I try to stay active. I mean, there's a few things, right? And how do you rank them in terms of importance? They're equal for me. I'm an active guy. I try to get into the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I play soccer once or twice a week as well. I'm not a big cardio guy, sort of, on the bike or on a treadmill. I can chase a ball for hours on end. And soccer is my passion as far as sports go. So 3 to 4 days in a week in the gym, 1 to 2 days I play soccer. I walk the dog 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 times a day as well. He's pretty active. But then it's the diet and the supplements, and that really is sort of the foundation of optimal health. So, the exercise and activity aside, the most important thing for me and my health and energy levels is the nutrition that I'm putting into my body. And that comes from food and from the supplements. And supplements have been part of my life for 33, 34 years. And not a day goes, I don't miss a day. I have my routine. I have, the products that I use, and there's quite a few. And those are really core to, to my well-being and my energy levels and my health. So.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm a big proponent of body movement, encompassing not just, the gym and going to a gym or getting on a treadmill and stuff. It's more about just moving your body through life, being active, embracing the active lifestyle that is available to all of us. And would it be fair to say that really, I'm a big proponent of nutritional supplementation, but we talk about the optimal health and wellness trifecta. And we talk about diet and nutrition. First and foremost, so much of what we promote comes from good, wholesome food. But then there's also what we're missing from our diets, what we're not getting through the food supply chain nowadays. And it's very different today than it was back when we started 30, 40, even 50 years ago. It's a very different food system. So supplementation becomes very, very important. And then, of course, to round out the trifecta is the body movement. So it'd be fair to say that commitment is pretty key, right? It's about importance. What's really important to you?
For sure. You're absolutely right there. It's you have to be committed to this, right? And at the end of the day, we are responsible for and in charge of our own health and well-being. Nobody else is. Not your doctor, not your chiropractor, not your massage therapist, not your mom, not your dad. Once you're an adult, you are in charge of how healthy or unhealthy you are, barring, certain genetic extreme situations. So you have to be committed, and it's an everyday process, right? It's
Yeah.
day in, day out.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I think it's we try to hammer it home all the time. It's a personal responsibility factor, right? If you don't want to um, be diagnosed in a negative way from your doctor, be it with heart disease, be it with diabetes type 2, be it with, debilitating forms of arthritis. Everything boils down to you, your personal choices, and the commitment you have to your health now and preventatively long term. So I'm glad you mentioned that. At Health Experts Canada, we encourage our clients to create their very own personal affirmations or a mantra of sorts that holds special meaning to them as individuals, and something that helps to keep them grounded, helps them to reach levels of success in everything they do, be it with their own personal health, be it in their relationships, be it in their business or their career. What is an original Renzo quote or affirmation that has meaning to you, and how do you apply it to your life being a business owner, father, husband, son, etc.?
Yeah, it's going to sound simple, but it's not easy every day. But I am in charge of my own destiny, and that means my health, my well-being. That means what I do personally, professionally, and it might sound cliched, but that really, in a nutshell, is what encompasses it. So
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Sometimes, what have I said in the past? Sometimes simple is beautiful. Like it's just keep it, the
yeah,
whole kiss theory, keep it simple, silly.
yeah,
I mean, it really is about keeping it as simple as possible with a sentence or a statement that has ultimate meaning to you. And that way it keeps driving you forward. That's a good one. I like it. You are in control of your own destiny. But the Stairway to Health podcast is all about giving back and paying it forward. And we believe that as busy professional individuals, we all share similar challenges when it comes to our personal states of health. Our belief here doing what we do is that health equals wealth, wealth as it pertains to the quality of life that we all have. So, what situation sparked your desire to improve your quality of life by starting the Younited Nutrition with Purpose company?
yeah. I think I was at a crossroads, 4 or 5 years ago there when I left my longtime career, my family, my home, my life really, and um, I had opportunities to find other employment. I had some great opportunities, out there, but none of them really felt fulfilling to me, and I had I had an urge and a desire to create my own brand back in my mid to late 20s, and I had an opportunity to do that to a certain extent with Body Plus, but I found myself at that crossroads again, and I said, you know what, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm going to regret it. And if I fail, so be it. I fail, I can get a job, I can do something else. That there's no issue there. But I said I didn't want to live with that regret for the rest of my life. So I jumped into it, and there was a lot of anxiety. There still is today. There's days where I'm anxious, and did I do the right thing? Did I make the right call? But I feel great about the decision that I made, and I'm not, I certainly don't regret it. I don't wish I made a different choice. I'm all in, but it was that period in time where I was just, what am I going to do? And being in your late 40s, starting a new business is maybe not the best time, but I think for me it was the best time.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you think about the fact that there was maybe something missing in the marketplace when it came to supplementation? Did you think about what options are available to you, your family members? I mean, was that a driving force in
Yeah, it
creating these products?
it definitely was. Again, it comes from that personal sort of selfish place. I use a lot of products, and there's some areas where I wasn't quite satisfied or happy with what the offerings were, and just seeing how the direction that the category has taken over the last 5 or 10 years, in large part due to its success. There's been a lot of outside influence and interest in the business, and I choose that word specifically because in many cases it's become a business, and that doesn't resonate well with me because that sort of changes the nature of products and product development and what's offered to consumers. So I really wanted to get back down to basics and putting together the best things possible, best products possible without making compromises, due to cost or profit targets or bottom line targets. And yeah, so that's kind of where my head was at.
No, I like that. I
So
really do. You've got four product categories, or four products specifically with different flavors and
yeah,
such. But I'll run through them quick. You've got an all-in superfood product, which is essentially a green superfood product. You have a high-performance multivitamin mineral complex. You have an all-in-one plant-based protein and superfood powder, and you have a product called Energy Activator. Now, what I find fascinating about so much of what you've said so far is, and I'll be honest, folks, I'm going to tell it straight. No real bias here. This is the truth. When you introduced these products to me, they very quickly became some of my favorite products for personal use. And I use a lot of these out of these four. I think I ultimately use 3 out of these 4 products on a regular basis.
thank you.
But and what I found amazing, awesome, totally fantastic is that we talk about the 6 foundational pillars of nutritional supplementation when working with clients. And you have created 3 out of the 6 right off the bat, which again goes to show that you really were going back to fundamental basics and what is truly important for people to reach levels of optimal health and nutrition. The green superfood being one, the multi being another, and of course the protein powder supplementation being another. So do you want to talk a little bit about all of these products, or what makes them so different in the marketplace?
Yeah, for sure. And you hit it right on. Foundation was the key. So these are the products that I can't live without. I've used these products for the longest amount of time. Multivitamin I started using when I was 16 or 17 years old, Frank. So that has been by my side, part of my regime, my routine since then. And again, these were all sort of supplemented with my own personal sort of goals in mind, based on my own personal sort of genetic makeup. I can go there as well. I'm a big believer in using all the different tools we have available to us to optimize our health, and genetic screening being one of them. If that's part of
Yeah,
the
we do it. We offer it. Yeah.
but yeah, it's key. So for me, getting back to this, I start my day with superfood powder, and I have for 25 years, using a greens powder, superfood powder. The gap that I found out there that I really wanted to address was the nutrient density of a lot of the products that are out there, or lack thereof. To be honest with you, there's some wonderful products out in the marketplace. But what I found challenging to address is the nutrient content, that you should be getting from a lot of these products. And for me, I use a superfood powder because I don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, and I know better, and I try. And we can talk about the nutrient content in our foods and how that's changed. And we live in a colder climate, so we're importing food, 6 months of the year, and all these things have an impact there. So the bottom line for me is, looking for a greens or a superfood powder means that I'm looking to replace or supplement some of the things that I'm not getting from my diet, and the things that I'm supposed to be getting from fruits and vegetables are things like vitamins and minerals and fiber. So I wanted to make sure that my superfood powder delivered those things. So I formulated it specifically to be nutrient dense. So you could almost use it as a powdered multivitamin. It's so dense, so nutrient rich in vitamins, and loaded with fiber. So I think I checked those boxes in terms of what I was looking to accomplish with that one there. And it's all organic, completely organic, which is really important when you're using the scope and variety of ingredients that I'm using. I wanted to make sure we eliminated any possibility of, increasing, chemical contaminants into the diet, right? So that was the superfood powder.
And just to stop you right there for a quick sec, a lot of people think about a green superfood powder and the equivalency of, so many servings of fruits and vegetables, and how can that taste great, in a freeze-dried format reconstituted with what? I have to tell everybody out there listening, this powder mixes insanely well and tastes spectacular. The flavor profile is off the charts.
Thank you, Frank. So I have three teenage daughters that live with me, and I certainly don't impose my values on them, but I certainly want them to incorporate some of the things that I do in my life, and it had to taste good. Otherwise, they just, they're the ultimate guinea pigs, right?
For
And
sure.
they love the elderberry and they love the pineapple mango. So they use it every day without prompting, without persuading for me. So
It's important for compliancy, man. If this stuff is going to work, it's got to taste great, right? We got to want to drink it.
exactly. It certainly makes it easier to be committed, right? And to do it every day. It's about building those habits, right?
For sure.
So I took the superfood one step further, and I use a protein powder. I've used a protein powder since my mid-teens. Unfortunately, I can no longer use whey protein. I've developed a sensitivity to it, so it's been plant-based for me for a long time. And I found that organic pea protein is the best source of non-dairy or vegan protein out there. So I developed this organic pea protein that tastes pretty good, actually quite good. And again, just keeping that whole theme of nutrient density, top of mind, because I think we do fall short, when it comes to, what we should be getting from our diets. I wanted to fortify the protein powder with vitamins and minerals. And I thought, let me just add a half a scoop of the superfood powder to it. So again, all that nutrition is coming from food sources. And I fortified it that way. So it's my sort of 2-in-1 product or 3-in-1 product. And it mixes really well too.
Now, can I ask you a quick question? Because some
Yeah.
of our listeners out there, we've informed them about how the term plant-based gets used a lot. It gets thrown around a lot in the marketplace with respect to food choices, with respect to supplement choices. And in some cases, it's kind of a misnomer. This plant-based ideal, it can mean negative things, right? It's not always truly whole food, plant-based nutrition that's in a so-called plant-based product. When we're talking about your plant-based protein plus superfood, we are talking about real food, real nutrition. There's nothing, genetically modified in here. There's nothing chemically produced, right?
That is absolutely correct. It's all organic from organic food sources. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's so super, super key to understand. Real food, real nutrition that your body understands and can use.
Exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
that was the goal. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And then this energy activator, a little bit interesting. Give me your take on that.
Yeah, so that's sort of my favorite product, if you will. And I'll tell you why. So being a guy who works out and has been active forever, I I like the idea of taking something before hitting the gym, just to elevate performance, right? I mean, who doesn't? Unfortunately, a lot of products in the marketplace rely on caffeine to do that, and I like my caffeine by way of espresso and coffee. It's more of that sort of lifestyle habitual thing. I'm a slow metabolizer of caffeine, so large doses don't work well with me. So I could never use those pre-workout powders. They just drive like I can't actually go to the gym if I'm all hopped up on caffeine like that. So I wanted something that was caffeine free, and I didn't want to have a product that was loaded with arginine or citrulline or anything like that. So again, in keeping with the whole philosophy of laying the foundation with food-based products, I wanted to develop a performance aid that was based on food ingredients that actually had some scientific merit behind it. And I started playing around with some different ingredients and doing some research. And what the bottom line for me was, that the best, most effective way to increase energy levels was to support mitochondrial health. And that has a whole host of other ramifications on health and well-being. But in terms of performance, athletic performance, the healthier your mitochondria, the more ATP you're going to have available, which means the longer, the harder you can exercise, period. Bottom line. That's where it stops. That's where it ends, right?
Yeah.
So the goal was to find ingredients that supported mitochondrial health, mitochondrial proliferation, and the whole side effect of this, if I can use that term, is that mitochondrial health has numerous benefits, has a tremendous impact on our ability to age well and age healthy. So when you talk about longevity, you talk about healthy aging. That's all tied into how healthy your mitochondria is, because mitochondrial health plays into a lot of degenerative conditions that we tend to develop as we age. So for me, it kills two birds with one stone. And I take it every day. Some days I take it twice a day if I'm working out in the evening or if I'm playing soccer in the evening. That is one I don't shy away from taking, more than once a day for
Sure.
sure.
And because it's non-stimulatory, you don't have to worry about it keeping you awake at night. So if you do tend to play a game later in the day or in the evening, or work out, in the evening, if that's your evening routine, you don't have to worry about, missing out on necessary sleep and recovery.
Exactly. So
I'm really, really happy you touched on that, because this whole concept of healthy aging, mitochondrial health, ATP production, energy production within the cells, everything starts in the human body at a cellular level. And, people say to us all the time, man, how do you do it? You don't look any older than you did 20 years ago. What are you doing for yourself? Well, this is a big, big part of it.
it's huge. It's enormous. I first came into contact with this whole mitochondrial theory of aging probably 25 years ago. And, it just sort of sat, in my back pocket, so to speak, until a few years ago when I started doing some research on this. I thought, holy cow, Dr. Ward was way ahead of his time back in the mid 90s, but the product is all food-based. Everything in there is derived from foods. You can take it at 11 o'clock at night. You can go to sleep an hour later. It's not going to keep you awake. The effects build over time. So it's adaptogenic in a sense. So the more you take it, the better the results. And it is absolutely one of the healthiest powders that you could take, period. Forget about pre-workout. It's super healthy for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for highlighting that. And thank you for being so specific in terms of how these products work. Because like I said, these are some of my favorite products in the marketplace. I use a lot of them regularly. And I'm a big advocate in terms of supporting them. But you've come a long way. You've come a very long way. I mean, from an interested teenager, and I can relate, being born into this industry, literally, I can relate. It's a passion. And you can feel that passion just listening to your explanation and your description, and in what got you through this industry and what brought you to this point. What, if there's a big takeaway, what have you learned? What's your big learning aha moment through everything that you've gone through?
Oh, wow. It's hard to pinpoint one thing, but I'm always learning, Frank.
Sure.
There's always something new. So it's be open-minded, be open to learning new things. Go out and search and seek, and don't be happy with, where things are today, because I think, there's always a nugget of information out there, something that might be new, something we may not have heard or may not have heard at the right time. So always be open to change, always be open to learning and open to change.
Yeah, I like that. And would you also say that it one of the big lessons here is to be true to yourself?
Authenticity, and be true to yourself, for sure. Absolutely. Always, every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Ultimately, as busy entrepreneurs, especially inside of the health and wellness, holistic healing, healthy lifestyle industries, we're constantly trying to get our messages out to the masses, right? Get that message heard. Tell us, Renzo, where can people contact you or find you or your company? Do you have some social media presence? Is there an email or website or anything that they can go to?
Yeah, for sure. You can find us at fine retailers like the Apple Market. We're very selective about who we partner with. And we are online, unitedwellness.ca. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well. And those are the best places to reach us, for sure.
Awesome. Listen, Renzo, thank you so much. This has been a great pleasure of mine, being able to sit down with you finally and engage with you like this. Thank you for entering my space and my zone. I've truly enjoyed speaking with you today. And thanks for giving back to our listeners.
Thank you, Frank. This has been a pleasure, and I look forward to working with you. And hopefully you'll invite me down the show again. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Frank Peary, and on behalf of myself and Marilyn Mitchell, until next time, remember, health equals wealth.
So that's all the time we have today, but there's still so much more to talk about and learn. Head over to healthexpertscanada.com for more ideas on healthy living, and don't forget to like, download, and share this podcast with your friends, just for the health of it.